fuck me. Bro. I mean, he planned. He said he was planning for like 2 hours last night, and I think apparently like got offline for some YT chat bullshit backseating. And I assume you've seen the text that was up on the screen while he was planning. Yeah, I just tuned in a few minutes ago. Mental is not infinite right now for Squirt. I mean, is he wrong? There's maybe at most um there's like maybe 20 people in chat that could legitimately be giving comments about this. Don with a galley. Sheesh. Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you. Bum 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 bum. Thank you, goat. Yes, the underleveled protector for double battles. Hey, whoa. Oranberry tech on Jupiter 3? Oh my god. Never mind. Doesn't work apparently. Oh, he was just trying to use it to heal 10 HP, is what it was. Never mind. Airtight line. 50-50 on the first turn. Hmm? Did he just I was about to say, yeah. It clicks super fang. There's uh false swipe hitting for 40. Level 1 versus 61. It was only mildly horrifying. Dude, manually like pre-damaging is so inconvenient. Like I think it gives it a charm. Like there's a certain charm to it, but and not just like using a script to do it. Yeah, I mean he's definitely just baiting kill using protect first turn to set up gravity. Scun tank is getting sacked, and otherwise, I think he said Medi was like backup. I mean, it's going to be a generational performance out of Luxray, I can guarantee you. But that's a common thing at this point. Yeah. This is about to be the most value he's gotten out of Scun Tank the whole entire run. As far as I know. And it's literally just going to be recoil damage on Tauros, I'm pretty sure. Also, I saw, you know, just headline bullshit. Did you see why the Knicks ended up coming back last night? Or what it, I mean, you know, what I saw to be the reason why. They just fucking ISO James Harden the whole entire night. Or the whole entire fourth quarter. Yeah. 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 And then their best defensive guard, I assume, didn't get a single minute all of game one. Yeah. I just saw like a stat headline about how much he was ISO'd on the fourth quarter, and I was like, well, I would say that's probably the reason that they came back. Yeah. So was that game in New York, I assume? Yeah, it has to be, right? That's a big comeback. That's a big momentum shift. and its piss tank. Yeah, that's how it. That's kind of seems how it to be. It's kind of. It kind of just seems like you're able to push the XP a lot heavier, and like I mean, you kind of have to on these walls. Demon in. Good riddance. I believe so. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a delay or what, but I remember on KTZ's world record, or which is not even world record anymore. Apparently, somebody's I think beat Volkner or something like that. Or yeah, I don't know. Um, it was a tag battle with a bunch of booms on one side, and he had a ghost of sort. I think he was either on Volkner split or something. I don't know. He ended up going down to getting soft locked in some bullshit puzzle. I mean, that's probably fair. Getting fucking thrown to the wolves. Literally making an appearance because it's worse than the other one. What the hell? There's one matchup I use it pretty consistently for. It's the Laron in the first. I don't remember if it's in the first gauntlet. I don't remember. I think it's the second battle of the first gauntlet. No, it's the first one. The first battle of the first gauntlet. It's a Laron with Focus Sash, so using most of the time I'm leading Torterra into the first Mon, which is a Torkoal, baiting Ledian out, answering Ledian with something that baits in Laron for head smash, and then swapping Sand Slash into the head smash to break Sash, and then he just kind of walls it. And even if Reflect is up, then I usually Rock Smash the Laron because a crit would still kill, and the damage without a crit doesn't kill from Metal Burst. Because that's the concern with it, is it has Focus Sash, Metal Burst is the kind of hard part about it. So break Sash, and then if Reflect isn't up, Drill Run. If Reflect is up, Rock Smash, then Drill Run. And then it also, in that gauntlet, usually getting in on Zap Cannon answers Electabuzz with a Aspira Berry on. Double Int him is disgusting. Nope. Not yet. Seventh with the Harmony. Thank you, thank you. Gravity plus Protect. Oh, 7 Sand Slash. Then Aqua Tail's going into Lubuvakirk. Oh no, you're double swapping right here, so that makes sense. Don't ask questions during this fucking fight, random chatter. Oh my god. People asking questions right now to him are driving me crazy. Just don't get crit on Giga Impact. Does Reggie just see killing to both? We'll go back to this. Fuck it. Jesus Christ. Big flinches, big flinches, big flinches. Ugh. Rock polish, nice. Ice Fang. Oh. Oh yeah, it does. It's neutral. Flinch para, full para. Nah, not a new world record. He's deep. He's deep into the game. I'm doing good. Doing good. Just fucking praying to get on a run. Does this feed stomp kill into Lux right now? I know. I've been fucked by cycling road way too many times. The one time I've made it past cycling road, I fucking beat Fantina. Oh, fuck that. I also could just play out a lot more of these runs and definitely not be Rourke split locked so much, but I can't invest myself in shitty boxes. I mean, it wouldn't. It's not necessarily a waste of time. Like you could have a optimistic outlook of it, of just more experience with later fights and learning different strategies and stuff like that. But seeing the situations more, like even though I've got Forest, like Eternal Forest, pretty fucking solved. There's still plenty I could learn from it, honestly, because I do a lot of the same strategies each time. Yeah, I do. I've got Galactic Hideout pretty figured out. Goddamn Ninetales. Huge flinch. That's just Resurrect crit punishing at that point. I mean, yeah. Mostly for hopes that it helps get some traction on purple. That's really the only concern about it. Like, oh my crit. He's out. Yeah, I got purple, red, and TikTok all going. Double crit. Second crit didn't matter, but one death, Jupiter 3 is fat. Shit was demon. Time for another 3 hours of calking. I've actually I mean, I've just started doing YT streams just to have like permanent VODs, and I mean, those streams aren't picking up any kind of momentum ever. But I've gotten a handful of good raids on purple. The first of which being from this goat squirk that we're watching. They don't have like insane payout or impact necessarily, but that is the one very nice thing about purple, which I would be much like yeah, because the discovery and algorithm and everything like that on purple is nowhere near what it is on TikTok. That's why I say like people who start streaming on TikTok, I mean, TikTok's just a completely different world of streaming on its own, but it's a very um like false reality of what streaming is, where you can be no views or no followers on TikTok, and if you're able to go live, then you're gonna get views. Whereas any other platform, and kind of just like the general nature of streaming, you kind of got to learn how to stream to nobody first before you stream to people. Kind of learn how to entertain nobody before you can entertain anybody. Which I'm not the most entertaining person. I'm very nonchalant, mostly mental health induced, but I know I'm not super entertaining. I'm not a loudest funny guy screaming all the time to get TikTok views and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, all that aside, um, being a genuine like viewer on Purple would do a whole lot for me as far as potentially finding some traction on Purple as well. Like I'm not super active chatter, and more streams than not that I'll watch on Perp, I'm not chatting. Mostly just this stream is the one that I'll kind of chat in. Um, and if I was a more consistent like chatter and viewer and stuff like that in other Purple streams, then I'd be at least a little bit more recognizable to some people in the community and all that kind of stuff. And that's a very genuine, like legit way of growing on Purple. Whereas, the people on TikTok just hop into any and every Pokemon stream, send a heart me and a go pop just to, you know, not that everybody's doing it like that or has that mentally as their incentive, but It's very easy to fake show support as a way to kind of get your name out there, whether you're doing it intentionally or not on TikTok. Um, or whether you're like consciously treating it that way or not. So, fuck it, we'll run it. So, I do fail on that part, in that aspect of like if I was just a more consistent like viewer chatter or whatever, I would probably help myself a little bit more. I would help myself a little bit more with getting traction on purple, which I've started to do a little bit. But it's a very different world, and I've not put enough work into the stuff on purple like I should. Yeah, and like that's just not gonna be me. I mean, that's not. I have to be in a very particular mood to be all that energetic and chatty and stuff like that, or just at least talking about something that I can ramble on about like that. But a lot of the time, the gameplay is very mentally, not mentally like draining, but mentally like demands a lot of mental resources. So a lot of the times I'll end up just getting lost in the calcs and not be like a super engaging person. So like I know what my flaws are and everything like that, and I know how I could help myself with being more entertaining and or trying to get more traction on purple. But I've also just never been that much of a purple viewer just in general. I've watched so much more YT in my lifetime. Like I've watched more YT than I've watched fucking TV at this point. And that's why I also feel like I've got like a good eye for like creating some content sometimes. Like if I really get my eye on something and kind of put my mind to it, like I can make some pretty good content. But I was talking about it earlier of like when it comes to that, I don't want to make slop like 99% of the shit is. Like I want to make something that I'm proud of and put some good effort into and can enjoy the process of making and like a level of storytelling and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it's definitely a much more long form content mindset, but also just generally kind of trying to be proud about the work I make and everything like that, or the content that I make. And that's not exactly what is catchy for TikTok or anything like that. So then it also becomes, you know, hard to stay mentally invested in creating something like that when I'm going to put a lot of myself into it and then get little to no return on it more times than not, which is just the general mental that you have to have or like understand for content creation in general. But yeah, exactly. It's not meant for what I generally like to create. Like I can get in the mood and get in the mindset where I can create something like TikTok friendly, but where I'm just so much like more YT centric and like long form creation, storytelling type shit. Like it's just not TikTok friendly or whatever. But most of the time, which I just like, I started working on, yeah, exactly. I started working on a video and then I was like, I also know how much, I know how much, like I did the recording for it and did the audio and got it all squared away. And I started to take clips off of the VODs and everything like that for like visuals and everything like that. But then I was like, I also know how much work I'm about to put in on the actual like editing and visual part of it. And but that's the amount of work I put in for it for me to feel good about it and feel proud about it and like be willing to upload it and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, because I don't want to upload fucking slop. Um, so then it's like it's hard to stay mentally invested on that when I know how much of myself I'm about to put into it for what will most likely be little to no return. Which again, that's just kind of a part of like content creation when you don't already have a following and all that kind of stuff of you got to just create shit and not expect viewership and anything to it. But um I want to like create stuff that I'm proud of and can enjoy creating and all that kind of stuff, and that usually takes quite a bit of time and like dedication to it. So yeah, and it's like I need to like find a better like mental balance of it and everything like that, of not everything needing to be like, you know, dedicated amount of time into it, like creation and everything like that, but it has to be stuff that I'm proud of creating, basically. And like I can be proud of creating something that took me 2 hours to create, but more times than not, it doesn't really like end up that way for me. I mean, it's definitely like a mental imbalance. Yeah, it's finding that middle ground for sure. And I definitely have a mental imbalance of like wanting to put so much into creating content, but then also it not being that worth the time that it takes when it's going to be like little to no payout realistically. But then also needing to understand that's just kind of the nature of it without having a major following or something like that. So I don't know. It's a little bit of back and forth. Yeah, 100%. Holy super slammer. Okay, two demons in. Neither of which are great encounters, but it's fine. Yeah, like I'm definitely my biggest critic for sure. 1,000,000%. And if I was in a healthier spot mentally, then you know it would be a lot easier and stuff like that. But I'm many a months into fucking years at this point of bad mental health, and that definitely doesn't help with my want to put myself out there and be like creating something that is very much going to be centric about, not necessarily centric about me, but is very much going to be a representation of me and all that kind of jazz. Facts. You should have seen the VOD of me reacting to Don's gauntlet in Gardenia last night, because I'm definitely his biggest critic. 1,000,000%. I know Don was giggling his ass off this morning watching that shit. That was a good time. It was a real good time. Absolute cinema. It was fun. And by the end of it, I was like, that's why they say there's more than one way to skin a dead cat or whatever. I was like, but a major skill gap, especially of PK, with how much fraudulence there is in this game, and just like straight bullshit, is like risk mitigation and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, he wasn't mitigating a lot of risk. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I know. I need to. There's so many things. I mean, it's. I'm a very big momentum person, and when things get going, I'll get rolling and all that kind of stuff. But when things are starting to roll the opposite way, I snowball really hard the opposite way too. And it's been multiple things repeatedly kind of snowballing me the wrong way in the last like 2 years, 3 years, even as of recent. So it's pretty tough to undo all of that. But there are many things that I should be thankful for and be happy about, and have incentive to kind of snowball the other way or undo the snowballing that's happened. But I'm not doing myself any favors with the way that I'm living and have been living for a year at this point. Yeah. It's literally the same as like going to the gym and shit, right? Like building that habit, once you get going, it's so easy and like you literally fiend for it, right? But those first couple of times trying to get there and go are miserable. And same thing with like just fucking eating well. Every time I've been like on a good diet, um, which was forever ago. Yeah, and it's the same way for mental shit like that. Like it's just so much easier for me to fucking be a hermit, be fucking damn near not talking to anybody except for text on the screen every day. Avoid being a burden to people, which is such a product of, you know, bad mental health to even like look at it that way or think at it that way. But yeah. And like I mean it's a lot of stuff. I can definitely like yap about it pretty openly now and everything like that, but yeah, 100%. I'm way too fucking emotionally and mentally aware, like to a huge fault. And not even calling it a fault's not even like the right thing, right? Because being mentally, emotionally like intelligent or aware is a very positive thing, but when snowballing the wrong direction, it makes everything seemingly makes everything 10 times worse. Because I also know like the solutions are relatively simple and just takes a little bit of fucking pulling yourself up by your bootstraps or whatever, you know, all the fucking boomers would say. But I'm way too aware of how far I've fallen and like how, you know, the solutions to it generally aren't all that fucking miserable or terrible or like, you know, on paper aren't all that hard and everything like that. But okay, demons all around. Yeah, I do. I appreciate that. And I've definitely like yapped about it a good bit recently on stream and it definitely helps, but you know, and there's definitely a good core of people whose support has been very very uplifting, especially with just like the streams and stuff, but also just in general. And also have obviously afforded me the ability to kind of stay afloat and not completely just crash miserably like I was on kind of on a path towards doing or had been doing realistically. Um and even just talking about it like on here and stuff like that with, you know, selections of people. What's up, Mike House? How are we, brother? Thank you for the heart me. Appreciate you. There's good people, Don. There's good people. That's all I can really say for it. Thank you for the go pop as well. There's good people for sure. Good people in a toxic space and what I would still call a toxic community. Mostly incentivized just by the infrastructure or the way that TikTok works, really. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily anybody's fault that the complete nature of TikTok is and streaming and gifting and all that kind of stuff just breeds toxicity. It's not there are toxic people within it, but even without those particularly toxic people, it would still be just a very toxic platform and kind of area and space to be in. But there are very much genuinely good people for sure. And thankfully that's one thing I can appreciate about, you know, even though I don't have yeah, and that's at least what I feel like is kind of good. Like there what incentive could you yeah, true. Yeah, like the battling fucking subsection of TikTok lives is just horrendous. But like that's at least one part of what I've been happy to like kind of not necessarily stay under the radar in certain years. W Michael House with the 1 year. What a goat. That's definitely like a W anniversary. Um that's definitely what I at least can see as like a positive impact of me not having fucking joined, you know, certain agencies and kind of adopted all of the what I would call inauthentic strategies of viewership retainment and gifting and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, would I've made more money here, have more viewers and all that kind of stuff, which would be cool and be great and everything like that. Even just money aside, just having more viewership and all that kind of stuff would be sick. But I feel like me not adopting all that stuff and like, yeah, having less viewership and all that kind of stuff is not fantastic, but um genuinely I do feel like 99, maybe not 99, but a very large percentage of my viewership is a very genuine viewership. And like I made the comparison the other day that it's much more of a viewership that's akin to something like a purple viewership, where it's like actual, like, it might be parasocial or whatever, but it is still genuine kind of connections and all that kind of stuff. um yeah, but like I don't know, I'm never not gonna just be myself on stream. And you know, the whole nonchalant, very next to no reactions or very subtle reactions, not getting too animated and everything like that, mostly as a product of not trying to get my fucking 12-year-old dog all worked up and everything like that. But like I'm just never not going to be myself. And, you know, a healthier mental self would not be so, you know, what I would call relatively unentertaining. You know, I think a big part of me not being entertaining in a certain way is definitely a product of mental health and all that kind of stuff. But like if I was healthier mentally, I would be a much goofier motherfucker. I can tell you that much. I know, I know. I definitely have a very I definitely talk about myself way too negatively. Yeah, and it is very easy to spot inauthenticity, but also, you know, that is generally what kind of pops on TikTok. Um, but I would be generally a much more, at least have more energy and be kind of more engaged in what I would say is just the general like definition of entertaining if I wasn't in a mental blender. Um but I do feel like, you know, the viewership that I have curated is generally a pretty authentic one. And it's not like what incentive do other motherfuckers have to be popping in to just put their name in my stream from sending it a heart me and a go pop? Like, what viewership are you gaining out of that? Hell if I know. Hell if I know. Bro, where's the counter? Holy shit. But I mean, I can find solace or like appreciation for, you know, not not having insane viewership and everything like that when it feels like a much more genuine viewership. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, bro. And like genuinely fucking when I first started streaming and not even on TikTok on Purple, it literally wasn't for any kind of incentive other than just to like I was gonna be playing the shit anyways, like might as well stream it kind of deal. Um so I never got into the space as like truly trying to get anything necessarily out of it. Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, it's kind of weeded out some bullshit, and like you know, I know you can much more comfortably adopt, the 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 we live live ways, not to just like fucking name drop, but I really don't care, you know, and all that kind of stuff of wanting to grift to a certain degree and all that kind of jazz. Um, but you definitely do have a much more genuine viewership on PK than you would on Ironmon because Ironmon's just dopamine fueled brainless bullshit for sure. But it's what gets the fucking dopamine views on TikTok. And like you can't tell me, Don, that Gardenia fight last night was not more entertaining for you as a player than literally anything on fucking Ironmon, for one thing. Like, not even close. literally, literally Pusha on his fucking Berry 2 on his first seed said that was the most fun he's had on a Pokemon game. Like, it's so much more fun from like the player perspective. Um, and yeah, nuzlocking or like hardcore nuzlocking with calcs and all that kind of stuff is definitely not a TikTok friendly type thing. It's much slower paced gameplay and all that kind of stuff, but it definitely does help curate a more genuine viewership. Yeah, true. Exactly. Exactly. And like there's even more added to it of like there's such an exclusivity right now in particular. I mean, there's even when this game's 2 years, 3 years old, there's still a lot of exclusivity of like you're still in a very small selection of people that have even like beaten Gardenia at this point. You know what I mean? So much more, so much more fucking, so much more accomplishment and everything like that for sure. I don't want to listen to Squirk Calc for 3 hours. I love Squirk. Is anyone else live? Uh, oh boy, KTZ. But there's an inherent level of luck even on the most well prepared. Like there's no riskless Gardenia. Even the most well prepared and most thought out fucking Gardenia that you could possibly have with the most perfect team, there is still just inherent luck to go along with it 100%. And like that's just unavoidable. And that's what kind of a lot of this game is. But that's just like, that's what I like about it so much more is that it's just inherent like Pokemon battle level of luck. And it's not fucking spinning the roulette wheel waiting for RNG to give you the perfect fucking stat spread on something with perfect moves and fucking like perfect items all throughout. Bro, fuck off. Yeah, which I think even without the cacturn waking up first turn or whatever it was and breaking through and hitting, I think you were still in a pretty good spot. To be fair, you were at a healthy spot with just Torterra left. Didn't it roar you out? I don't know, or did it attack that turn when Cacnea broke through or Cacturn broke through? Yeah, I mean, it does take a certain level of investment. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like even if you didn't wake up, or if you didn't, like, even though you were asleep and you very well could have just attacked into a sleep turn, attacking there was 100% the play, because if you go to swap into something that you want, you're just getting roared out. As long as he didn't, like, that's as long as if Torterra doesn't see kill, attacking is almost always the play. Assuming rocks are up, which they are 99% of the time. Yeah, exactly. Like it does take a certain level of like mental investment to even just kind of get behind PK or understand what's happening and kind of see the vision for it. Or it just takes, I mean, genuinely in comparison to Ironmon/Ironmon viewership, it literally just takes like fucking two brain cells. But it does take a certain level of like beginning investment just to kind of get into it and kind of see the vision and understand, the stakes of everything and what all's going on and all that kind of stuff. Um, so there is a certain entry cost into getting into it, but you know that's what I'm saying. Like once you get a feel for it, it's so much more like I feel like it's so much more entertaining than anything really. Like watching Squirk's fucking Jupiter 3 right there. Like I love that shit. It's just so fun. I know it, but he needs to hear his own thoughts. He needs to be able to hear his own thoughts and be able to think stuff through. Because true. Fuck this Zigzagoon, man. I'm not taking it. Little worst Pokemon in the game. Yeah, 100%. But and like it's the same thing I'd say about like TikTok being a toxic place and a fucking like such a unrealistic view of what streaming is for a lot of people, since it's such low entry cost and it doesn't take anything to get fucking any kind of viewership. Okay, I'm going back to Squirt because KTZ staler than a fucking 2 week old sourdough. Um, like TikTok can be a very unrealistic world of streaming for people getting into it, because anybody and everybody can get into it, and especially with Ironmon, anybody and everybody can play fucking Ironmon and just let the tracker damn near play for them and all that kind of stuff. But it does do good at what it's good at, obviously, right? And like it's its own thing in and of itself. Yeah, exactly, like 100%. It's such a low entry cost with, and like to be fair, I not that I had this same setup and everything invested into it to have to like to you know have somewhat of a good production and like good looking shit, because I want to be like proud of the content that I'm making or the stream that I'm like outputting. So, you know, but I definitely started as like I didn't really know shit, and like Kaizo Ironmon Gen 3 was definitely catering to the nostalgic part of it, and then also allowing me to learn a lot through it and everything like that. So, anybody and everybody being able to play Ironmon isn't such a bad thing, right? Like it's a good middle ground for people finding their way back into Pokemon just in general, right? But the the very unrealistic and like completely very different world of content creation as a TikTok streamer is like such a weird and inauthentic, like not inauthentic, but unrealistic. I've said it like 4 times, but just unrealistic world. But it's like it does great at what it does great, right? Like the algorithm is fantastic. Getting that kind of discovery is fantastic, and it can definitely be like a very good propeller, right? But yeah, and that's absurd, right? I was literally talking with my mom the other night at dinner, literally explaining kind of the whole, literally kind of this most of this whole rant about that I've given so far about TikTok being just completely unrealistic and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, there's really realistically never a world where I would feel comfortable. Thankfully, it's afforded me the ability to kind of stay afloat in the last like couple of months, or at least since starting PK. But there's never a world that I could comfortably fucking like quit my job and really just because for TikTok alone, like I was like, I would have to have very legitimate like purple and red followings to ever really consider being like, okay, I'm gonna take this full time and like not have a job and like treat it like a job and that be my job. Because that at least has residual and, you know, just much more legitimate and consistent. Yeah, which like realistically I don't think, especially with my, it doesn't take much for me to get by, to be fair, which is also definitely a product of bad mental health and all that kind of stuff, you know. Having terrible eating habits and all that kind of stuff is definitely not a good thing. Low key demon in, kind of slow, but whatever. Um, like it doesn't take me much to get by, to be fair, but I could never confidently be like, okay, I don't need a job and I can just do TikTok streaming as a job because that shit is so unbelievably inconsistent. I mean, I guess maybe once you get to a certain level, it's like you can do it, right? But it's literally spending every day damn near being inauthentic as hell and everything like that to do it. Yeah, exactly. And like all it takes is literally the slightest bit of inconsistency to lose a lot of that like a lot of that momentum or motion. True. Very true. But that's why I feel like having that when you have a little bit of a community or a following or a viewership or whatever on Red or Purple, that's where it's just such polar opposites of spaces comparatively to TikTok, because Red and Purple viewerships are much more authentic and like generally I feel like my entire TikTok viewership is much more akin to that kind of viewership, because most of the people that are actually in my streams are genuinely like kind of in the stream for me and everything like that, and not even like obviously if I'm playing some random bullshit that like they don't find entertaining, maybe they wouldn't hang out the whole time or everything like that. And playing Pokemon and having started in a Pokemon like community and stuff definitely helps with everything, right? And definitely helps keep people retained. But if I were to go play Rocket League or Apex or whatever, it's not going to retain all those same people all the time or as much as it does. But that's just kind of the nature of content creation in general, right? Like you're changing what you're playing and all that kind of stuff, unless you're just generally a multi or like a variety streamer, like then you can retain people through that. But the red or purple viewerships are much more there for you and like authentic to you, so it's much easier to have a feeling of consistency in that aspect than it ever would on TikTok. Yeah, I mean, like it's a disgusting world of it's a disgusting world of fucking societal status being based off of gifter level badges and heart me badges and all that kind of stuff, and disregarding people because of not having gift. Don with the galley. Thank you so much, man. My absolute fucking favorite. All of you are pieces of shit compared to Don because he gifts me. I love that guy. Holy shit, man. I think that's what he wanted. I think that's what Don wanted. um yeah, it's yeah, exactly. um but that's just a fucking disgusting nature of TikTok, honestly. Bro, fuck off, Motham. I'm gonna fucking freak out. Facts. Facts. And that's just where, I mean, I've said it before of like if I could have literally 10% of my TikTok following, which I mean, actually the numbers from purple to here are exactly 10% as far as following, I think. But we beat Rourke earlier today, but it was 5 deaths plus the missed encounter since we got Onyx and Orberg mine and it's impossible to catch, so I just didn't even run it. Nothing crazy though. Still Rourke blender for sure. But I mean, if I could have, you know, even just a handful of viewers consistently on purple, I think the benefits of it would be exponential, because I know a lot of the times like viewers don't, or new viewers wouldn't want to hop into a 0 viewer or 1 viewer stream and be the only one chatting in there and stuff like that. Like more people than not don't want to be that one person in a stream or whatever, right? So like even just having a handful on purple for, engagement and stuff like that, I feel like kind of snowballs a little bit, where people feel at least like there's a little bit going on here and everything like that. True. And that's also true, right? Hef, like there is a certain level of that there's no kind of fucking like there's nowhere near any kind of, the dynamic of FYP push and all that kind of stuff is non-existent on purple. The discovery, the whatever discovery algorithm there might be, is next to nothing. You know, it's gonna put it's it's gonna put, if you're looking for it in a certain category, it's gonna put the most views at the top and the least views at the bottom and everything like that. So people have to kind of, yeah, true. And it's like it's still very very possible to, with that kind of viewership, it is still very possible to have still very authentic, like, and like conversations, or like maintaining conversations with chat and stuff like that. Um, but 200 viewers on TikTok versus 200 viewers on Purple is a much different 200. 200 viewers on TikTok is going to be nonstop slop, and it's going to be hard to weed out like the genuine kind of chats and everything and stuff like that. Yeah, which I mean, there definitely gets to us. I mean, and like, yeah, I mean, to a level, yeah, to a degree, yeah. I would think it's very much the opposite, Hef. Like, obviously, you start thinking about if you're comparing the people like Peach Owl with 3,000 viewers on Purple or whatever, like there's just too much going on chat. And he's also at a certain level where it's like he doesn't have to do that, right? He doesn't have to be responding to every single chat. Like, it would literally be physically impossible for him to, but he doesn't have to. Versus like a 200 person or a 100-person stream on Purple, I feel like is 10 times more personal than a 200 or 100-person TikTok chat. 100%, yeah. He probably cares more about his Peach Out daily uploads than he does actually like literally anything involving the stream itself other than just playing. At least anything involving the stream as far as like numbers go, and like I've never hardly once heard him be like, "Oh, you can get away with the or get rid of the ads by subbing with Prime or whatever." Yeah, which is like the content creation kind of like mindset, right? Where he finds something funny, he thinks it's going to be found funny by the stream and everything like that. Yeah, which but that's just because of a certain that's just because he's attained that certain level, Hef. Yeah, true, right? That's just because he's attained a certain level. I think that most things, most streams, most communities on Purple are much more personal connections than TikTok. But Hef, I would also say, so I feel like you're comparing like Peach Owl Purple streams to like me, Pusha, and Bauer streams, right? Where there's not constant TTS slop like there is in most TikTok streams. I think, and that's like all three levels of like viewership, right? Where like me with the least amount of viewership, Pusha with like the middle ground, and then Bauer with the top viewership, like still stay very personal and very engaged with chat and everything like that. Whereas in like the majority of like I feel like TikTok streamers aren't like that, and TTS is what makes them fucking like stay engaged basically, or like at least engaged with chat, whereas like they can't really fucking ignore it when everything's shouted in their ear. Like TTS is genuinely a like plague on TikTok streams. Yeah, and that's more akin to like, being able to TTS something with subbing or a certain amount of bits or whatever on perp or whatever, right? And I don't blame anybody for it, right? Like when kelp was streaming and I was heavy on kelp streams, like I was just as much of a TTS merchant, and I definitely fell into the chatter mindset of like, yo, I'm trying to involve myself as entertainment into the stream, which is just not how a stream's meant to be necessarily, right? Like TTS is here and there from a funny joke from somebody subbing on Purple or whatever is great involvement and added entertainment from chatters and stuff like that, but it also doesn't have to be TTS and just has to be like found by the streamer itself to yeah, like and if you're intending your streams to be where if you're intending your streams to be where chat and stuff is a more of a main focal point than you and your own content are, then like cool, right? Like if that's how you're if that's how you're going for it, then awesome. But it's definitely a it's definitely a like very negative. Yeah, exactly. And you're also not like what even are you at that point besides just literally the person behind the computer and like you might as well be a chatter at that point in your own stream. No, I mean like there's levels of it, right? Like there's degrees of it and there's also just and it's also very obvious when like a chatter themselves is purely just trying to be like damn near talking to hear themselves talk or like trying to be the funny one in the stream, trying to be the entertainment of the stream, inserting themselves as the entertainment of the stream. Like there's definitely a level of it. Like yeah. Like and like knowing when to TTS or when not to TTS is like a very like good thing at the same time. Like in no world does every single chat need to be TTS'd, but it's also but that's where it also gets bad for like the streamer to just be like to have like nonstop TTS because it also trains the streamer, especially these especially like everybody under the sun who has when there's no entry cost to streaming on TikTok. And yeah, I mean that's just that's just the that's just the nature of how to get the viewership that he has. You know what I mean? Like that's why I call Purple much more authentic of viewerships and everything like that than TikTok because TikTok is flooded with that kind of content and kind of streams. But when there's such low entry costs into streaming on TikTok and it's so easy to get like even just some kind of viewership and having TTS on for everybody is like very easy engagement and gets people to stay around because they feel like they get to be the funny guy in the stream or the entertainment of the stream and all that kind of stuff. It also trains the streamers not to pay attention to chat and not be personal with chat and at some points you're literally just you're talking to the TTS or you're responding to the TTS more than you are the person. Whereas just simply just reading the chat and responding to it is actually a personal reaction and stuff like that. Like TTS disembodies it from yes, it's a profile and like anybody can be behind the scene of a profile and it's just text on a screen and all that kind of stuff. But TTS even adds an extra layer of like disconnection from streamer to chatter where it's literally just you don't even have to read the chat. You can just hear it in your ear and fucking respond to it or laugh at it. And like you don't even have to know who said it. It was just like, oh fucking C3PO, you're so funny type shit. Like I feel like TTS disconnects the chat from or disconnects the streamer from chat tenfold. 100%. Yeah, I mean it's reading the room. It's streamer man like streamer implementing that kind of balance and all that kind of stuff, which you know certain like the homies that come in and like would TTS a lot and stuff like that, like Juna or Anthony and stuff like that, like I would relatively feel like comfortable since they do feel like homies to be like, yo, and like Juna, but like Juna 100% like understood that, and that's like, and he also doesn't like he understood that when he would pop in on the Run and Bun streams where it's just like not the kind of like there's a lot of there's a lot of mental fucking strain going on with trying to figure out lines and plans for battles and stuff like that, and hopping in with like spamming a big TTS or trying to be funny and stuff like that. It's just like it's kind of just out of the blue thing, and it's probably going to be less funny because it's not really like jokey joke time or whatever like that. Like Juna at least has the recognition of it and can kind of understand when and when not to kind of poke fun. Like he'll hop in and see me spamming fucking resets and be like, oh, I hope we get a turtle and all that kind of stuff. Like he understood the balance very well, and he's also a major TTSer as well. And at the same time, like maybe that kind of, and it could just be it also is a big like Juna, me and Juna are like have a good dynamic and everything like that. But and then also he's told me like the big brain Pokemon stuff isn't exactly like the content that he's looking for most of the time or anything like that. So that's that kind of change of my content has been a little bit different, and then also like relatively just not being like nonstop TTS slop is also kind of a difference maker where it's a little less entertaining for him as a viewer to not be able to be involved as a funny chatter, because he's very much known to be a funny chatter and like everybody loves him for it very much so, like as he should. He's fucking hilarious. But the content change for me and like kind of getting away from a TTS filled stream and like now just turning off TTS aside from like my mods is like obviously just a little bit not exactly the content that he's looking for, and that's completely fine. I still love Juno no matter what, and I'm happy to see him pop in and crack a joke every once in a while and all that kind of stuff. But he is a very good example of like being able to recognize the level of TTS that's necessary and stuff. Better has a guy that's been in chat for 2 years, never donated anything, which is fine. But I'm like, come on, man, support somehow. I mean, being such a very consistent viewer and chatter is more than enough support. You don't have to be a gifter to be a supporter. But like you don't you don't that's like the toxic nature of TikTok that I feel like is kind of coming through there, honestly. And yeah, like having that recognition and kind of understanding timing of things and stuff like that. Like nothing there's no nothing will what's the word like I'll get irritated, what's the word, not like when I feel irritation for somebody else, uh like living what the phrase is living something through you, living vicariously. Like I will vicariously get irritated for streamers when they're starting to talk and explain things and stuff like that, and like some TTS will come in and just absolutely ruin their like their with their moment, or their kind of they're very much attempting to be a very like entertaining and stuff like that. You're good. Like they're very much making a dedicated effort to be explaining something or answering something or making a moment out of the stream of entertainment and all that kind of stuff, and then some TTS slop just comes in talking about some random bullshit, or it's some simple reaction saying like, oh, that was bullshit, but just being TTS'd for absolutely no reason just to be heard and just kind of ruin the moment and everything like that. Like that shit's so annoying. Yeah. And like, but you understand immediately as soon as you send it. Like, and you also probably send it before like, they really get going with answering something or whatever, right? Yeah, and but that's also like a weird. It's definitely a 100% done. Nothing more frustrating, and like I genuinely get irritated when I see like if I'm seeing Dawn like answer like even though it's you got to answer the pre-sleep question a million times, right? But like you're taking a very consolidated and like focused effort to connect to that viewer who's asking a genuine question, right? And like explain that out to them for their understanding and like all that kind of stuff. And then like some kind of like TTS comes through mid thing and kind of like just runs over your your answer and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, that's so fucking annoying. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Hef. I mean, guessing games are can be a fun way of entertainment, but when it's literally pausing the entertainment or when people are hijacking this shit, saying five more follows before we go in or whatever, like it's just stupid. Literally, nobody likes to sit there and wait for guessing games. Nobody. Even if you're saying, "All right, I'm putting this guessing game up for 1 minute," like nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Like guessing games are fun. People get involved with it. That's good involvement. It's good engagement. All that kind of stuff. But nobody likes to sit there for that minute. Streamer, viewer, nothing, while the guessing game is getting filled out and all that kind of stuff. Nobody likes it. It's literally a pause in entertainment and a pause in gameplay. Holy shit, F. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. That sucks. Golly. Um, but AK, that's like where I was like, it is also a weird dynamic too because and you're a very I mean you're a mod in Don's chat, right? And you're a very dedicated like viewer of his and everything like that, and you are a very dedicated like addition to entertainment, and I'm sure 99% of the time Don very much like appreciates the level of like entertainment that you add to the stream and everything like that, because it does either get just mentally grueling to try to be entertaining nonstop or constantly and all that kind of stuff, or be engaged constantly and all that. And you can also be just an additive or a relief for the streamer 100%. Um, but I also know that you're aware of like you know, Dawn is the show and like is the entertainment, right? And you don't want to take away from that. You want to add to it. And it's like, it's a tough balance to find either way. Cause like you're in the same boat as like Juno, right? Like you're a funny guy. You're entertaining. You're a good addition to to streams and everything like that. So it's like definitely a weird balance to try to figure out. But you definitely like have at least the outlook of like, yeah, exactly, exactly. Like and at least having that awareness and having that outlook of like, and that's okay. Like it's if you're taking over while Dawn is in fucking Juba life, dying to wiping to a Hapini and all that kind of jazz, like it is what it is, right? It's also very much a timing thing, especially like PK centric. Like it's a timing thing of when things are happening and all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, 100% have. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it is just like a balance and like a understanding, at least having that understanding and not being completely just ignorant to the fact that like Dawn is the streamer and Dawn is the entertainment and all that kind of stuff is like more than 99% of the TikTok viewership just in general that love to TTS everything. Yeah, and like when you're being that significant of a like addition to entertainment and being like, because I know 100% that Dawn also feeds off of it, right? Like you say something funny and get Dawn rolling, like it, Dawn is probably also going to become more entertaining because of that, and I would imagine that he would reciprocate that that sentiment. But so like there's yeah, I know. There's a lot of very much positive stuff that comes from it. And even just having the recognition, uh even just having that recognition is a lot more than Jerry D would have harmed me. What's good, brother? Yeah, and like you can 100%, and like it's a great thing to have from a what's up, Jerry? How you been, brother? How have you been? Exactly. Like it is such a good additive for a streamer because it takes a lot of the pressure off to constantly be entertaining. Moist with the heart me and to go pop. What's good, brother? How are we? How are we? Like 100%. Like you also probably underestimate at the same time of like you might feel like you go overboard a lot of the time, or maybe not a lot of the time, whatever the balance is that you feel like you have. You probably also underestimate the amount that you helped on at the same time. Like it's been good, not too shabby. Been a little bit in the blender, the early game blender, the last couple days, but um, potentially getting bronze Hall of Fame validation here soon, which is really cool because we got through 3 badges and that's bronze Hall of Fame. As long as everything was done following the correct rules and everything like that. So looking at like one of the first 25 people in bronze Hall of Fame, which is sick. But I mean, I've loved every second of it. Even the early game fucking dread is still very fun to me because it's just a lot of mental exercise and very mentally engaging to me. So I've loved it. I've loved every second of it. And like that's what yeah, I mean, I can very much understand that you feel like you go overboard every time, but that's why I say like I feel like you probably underestimate how much like you also just like helped on just in general with being engaging or being entertaining. Like I can guarantee that he kind of snowballs off of the entertainment that you bring to it 100%. And I mean I say that even just off of however long it's been, 2 3 months or whatever it's been of being in Dawn streams and stuff like that. Like I can very much see that 100%. Yeah. Well, and like genuinely the thing like it's the questions hef. I'm like it was mostly just a timing thing for like, and I know that I gave you way too many like pissy responses, but it was literally just a timing thing of either being in the middle of a very stressful battle or having come off of something that I get like tilted about and just being tilted at the game and then like giving you a pissy response because of it. And like I also know that you understand that it was never like a irritation at your questions. It was more irritation with the game and everything like that, or where I was at with the game. Hell yeah, Jerry. I'm happy to have you. Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're on every day, like it would be you would very much cross a line of inauthenticity to be forcing yourself to be entertaining for 3 hours consistently every single night. Like you would 100% get into the inauthenticity part of it. You know what I mean? And like that's where I feel like Don has a really good balance of like, he does do the little bit of grifting here and there and does do some of the, you know, the WLL kind of mantras and all that kind of stuff, but very much so doesn't feel like at least in my eyes and everything like that, very much doesn't feel like the just the overbearing inauthenticity of most of those that section of streamers and everything like that, and does feel genuinely pretty authentic. I haven't played much Apex recently, Jerry. No, I've hardly played anything on Xbox since PK coming out. Really, I've played this every fucking day. What if I guess what this encounter is going to be? Is that what you're saying, F? Jerry D is a good moit. Most people don't. Most people don't know. Most people don't know Jerry D for his. I know that man's full governmental, bro. Back in the day where he was full governmental on the profile and in the streams. Like I could be overstating, but I think Jerry D. Like I think I was one of the streams that Jerry D found first, right? At least within the first couple of handful, right? Like first handfuls of streams. Jerry D is very, very OG around these parts. Yeah. Yeah. The pain, yeah. 20% routes, not the 60-30 ones. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like this one. Yeah, yeah. Versus like fishing. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. He had full governmental on the profile a while ago. Many a long time ago. Yeah, literally. His name is not Jerry, nor does his last name start with a D. uh, yeah, absolute OG, 1,000,000%. And that's not even including the days of not being Heart Me, right? Or maybe that's if that maybe that could be the follow number, right? Or if that's Heart Me number. I'm pretty sure you were in here well before you sent the Heart Me, I think, right? Yeah, it's Heart Me. Yeah, I feel like you were here for a bit before even the Heart Me. Yeah, Jerry D's big OG around these parts. I think this is gonna be Centrit. Bro, Motham, can you fuck off? I have not gotten so many 202 Mothams in one fucking stream. Yeah, absolute goat. Wait, and it's been how many days since PK came out on March 15th? King Hef with the Heart Me. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. It's been like 66 days since PK came out. I'm pretty sure I've streamed every day for like over 2 months straight. Yeah, it does. W. Kareem. Don has literally speedran the Heart Me. 100%. Was about to overtake number one. He's about to overtake Gengar, and that's like big OG. Yeah, 100%. And like that's kind of what I tried to move away from, especially with starting like PK, of like, you know, it's cool to get some Expedition 33. I think it was Expedition 33. Yes, that shit was very fun. Guess the nature for a galley. Oh fuck. I think this one's gonna be Hardy. Um, I kind of tried to like get away. I tried to get away from that whole like Cause like it's just not like it wasn't good for like it was cool to get a bit to collect a bit of viewership from people falling asleep in stream and whatnot, especially for like, you know, never having too much viewership streaming or whatever. But it also just like wasn't very fun to be like streaming for 6 hours into the middle of the night, have some viewership collected from people just falling asleep and everything like that, and then have next to no engagement of chat and or gifting. Like, you know, this wasn't like great. True, Donnie Boy does be sleeping in here quite often, farming up the view hours. Damn it! It was a neutral nature too. I was so close. Yeah, probably at this point for sure. Yeah, the only person that probably competes is Scram, but a lot of the time he hangs out on perp. Little watch time optimization for the kid. Repo was very fun, and like genuinely, with the more fun part of it was just like the playing with the homies, 100%. Same with like playing Peak with Kelp. Like 0 for 100. Holy shit. I don't know. I actually don't know. And maybe I'm talking out my ass. I think maybe he's like. I think maybe he's gotten into like. I hate to like. Wait, they don't. Yeah. Yeah. Like saying that he's gotten into a cult makes it sound like way worse, right? Like 100% worse, but something kind of along those lines. And I could be completely talking on my ass. Take it with a grain of salt. I, you know, maybe heard something about it a long time ago, but maybe something along those lines. Very much could be just talking out my ass. Very, very much could be. Yeah, I think he, I think he still does that, but I'm not even 100% sure. Yeah, I really don't know. I just know he's not been in the streams or been streaming, not been in like any streams or streaming as far as I know. Kind of just off the app, I think. His MMA page always pops up for me to follow as like a recommended follow. But yeah, I tried to get away from being the whole like really really good stream to fall asleep to and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know, right? They changed galleries a while ago. They finally like they took off like the good change was C League. I think it wasn't fucking 5 DJ glasses anymore. I think it was like down to 2 if I remember correctly, which is like W change, but and I don't know what B League was like beforehand, but this seems like a fucking A League gallery to me. But I know A League's probably got fucking universes and all that shit. Yeah, being cooperative would be really sick. Somebody, I don't remember who said it this morning, but somebody was like, they should make it to where you could at least like pick the gifts and everything like that, as long as it's like a hell yeah, Jerry, hell yeah, brother, get that grind in, man. Yeah, good seeing you too, brother. Thank you for stopping by. Yes, they seemed like I clicked the button. Okay, now that's all flipped. Hold on. Um Yeah, it seemed like a good change for C League, and then like I said, I don't know what B League look like beforehand, but seems the general consensus is that they absolutely fucked B League. Female Burmy, surely. I don't like that encounter there. We rat it out, test some of the other encounters, see what happens. True, there ain't gonna be much reason to. I mean, the level 7 manip is probably still good, right? But was this careful? Is that what it was? Plus put F minus ball. That's fine. Appreciate you, AK. Thank you so much for the chats for sure. I appreciated it very much. Thank you, brother. Squirk battle. How are there ads every time during battle when you calc for an hour and then battle for 5 minutes? Bro's stimming out. Yes, the fucking the Cynthia today. Yeah, it's a really good meme. It's a really, really good meme. Good flinch. I've lost multiple. The Sykuno shit just got me. Mm, what the fuck? That's funny. Does this attack raise make this metal claw kill? Or does it make it kill me? That's just poison sting. Okay. Oh boy, demon in. Unless I have a Yacha berry, I assume. Interesting. It's been 9 years. Timid. Damn it. Isn't sassy plus but F minus speed? Damn it. Rough. W impression of himself. Nah. No shot. God damn. Empoleon died. No. Literally just took over top frag in one split is insane. Took over top frag in one split. Leafeon also going insane this split, yeah. That's pretty sick. Shuckle with one. Bang. Yeah, his Archeops was insane on that Renabun win. Literally a godly Archeops. It is win straight house after Norman. The Mega Metacham took me out. Well, I think actually the what's it called? What's the dark ground type Pokemon? With Intimidate. I think I ended up sacking my way through the Metacham and then whatever the dark ground type is. The big gator looking dark ground type. Can't remember its name off the top of my head. That ended up being the final nail in the coffin. But the last fight of the whatever it is, like 4 back-to-backs in Win Straight House. I got to Norman's gym like 3 times, I think, or 4 times. Only attempted the Norman fight once, I believe, though. I think I died in his gym twice. Wiped in his gym because of forgetting that Embor had Choice Scarf. It's gym 4, actually. Brave is not fantastic, but it's fine. Good Spa IV. I think Norman's normally gym 5, but I think it's gym 4 in Run and Bun. Because it goes Brawley, Roxanne, Watson, Norman, I believe. I believe. My intention is to go back to Run and Bun after this. Obviously, this is going to take forever, but that would be my intention. Dude, how did I just know that was gonna be fucking Zigzagoon? King Hef with the super GGs. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Goat. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Super wet. Holy Deoxys speed. Oh my god. Kevin with the heart me and the rose. What's good, bro? Mm-hmm. Back. Looking for some turtles. We've been early game blender for a few days now. We beat Rourke on the early stream today, but it was 5 deaths after Rourke split plus missed encounter in mine because Onyx is ungodly impossible to catch. So I just reset right afterwards. It was actually a super clean Rourke fight itself. Yeah, we got an Onyx in mine. Basically, that run was it was all good up until the Rattata on 203. Without it even being burned, it crit hyperfanged the love disc as we charmed it, and it died there. And then we had a really shitty Starly off of 203 that I was just trying to pump XP into that I was going to trade for Chestnut. And it ended up dying. Um, I can't remember where it died. And then the first gym battle in Rourke went rough because of swagger out of the Onyx into Love Disc and then self hit. And I think 2 ended up dying maybe, or 1 ended up dying there. And then one ended up dying against Rourke. So it was 5 deaths after Rourke. None that were too crucial, honestly. Um, but plus the missed encounter was just like it was also kind of a shit box. Too many too many delays. Too many delay mon for that many deaths in the missed encounter. We actually got the Onyx into a good spot. So it was asleep and pretty low. Ooh, this is bad. That rough skin's not gonna pick up now. This quillfish has focus sash, so and it's swift swim, so it's fast as fuck. It also has spikes, which you want to prevent from getting put up. Holy demon! So the play there was pre-sleep. Sleep talk is prio. Earthquake hit a good enough range to where the aqua tail hitting rough skin ends up killing it. Sand slash was like almost always dead right there. Aside from like focus band saving it. Yeah, it is a really good turtle. Really, really good turtle. Squirk's going to be super loud here, but I want to be able to hear KTZ, so I apologize. This is Squirk watching KTZ Battle Wake. Well, I've never noticed that. Well, interesting. So it's not cropped super well, but it's cropped for Squirk's battles, so. No intim, so this is shell armor, so it can't be crit. This is Ludicolo coming in, I believe. Damn. It's a thick rat. So he has a chance of proccing swap AI here, I think. 100%. I've gotten so many fucking Mothams on 202 tonight. It's insane. Literally. Pretty sure Clear Body is better on Tentacruel normally, but Rain Dish is so good for this battle. Yeah, he's it's something to do with the swap AI potential with sludge bombing, I think. Oh, it was specifically for the extra chip after the citrus. Like the wrap chip might end up killing right here. No, he hit the range. I think he might have also wanted to be in a. I think he wanted to be in a particular range. He's about to just be pivoting between Gastrodon and Pelipper, dry skin and flying between water move and ground move. Little Natty Braun who says no. Bro, it's literally like the fifth one tonight. I'm not even lying. Dead ass like the fifth one. And I've been streaming for 2 hours tonight. It's insane. Like it's 20% to hit fucking Burmy as the encounter, and then it's just 50-50. I've hit it 5 times. Whack-a-miss. With a hard me and a go pop. Hello, Pookie. Bum. Literally. It's insane. I've not seen so many fucking Mothams on 202 in one sitting. And I've seen like I've had multiple good turtles tonight. Okay, he kind of muted for eating. I can turn up to listen to KTZ. Okay, I don't want to hear fucking Squirk Chew. I literally hate mouth noises. Fling the deep sea tooth, huh? Good tech, good tech. I didn't even see if this turtle was good. It's not. I can tell by that battle. Is that a speed tie? Interesting. Oh yeah, that's fire. Fling some bullshit to proc unburden. Ooh. There's a 50-50 for it to pursue first turn out, basically, if it doesn't see kill with something else. Pivot through Gastrodon probably gets it to Ice Fang if I had to guess. I remember. I don't know what this Fossil's whole moveset is. Any immunity ability is really, really strong in Nuzlocke. But dry skin just goes nuclear in this gym. Yeah, there's 3 off the top of my head that I know of. No, 4 actually. Fampy, which goes to Battle Armor when it gets to Dawn Fan. Krogunk and Toxicroak, I believe, both have it. Gastrodon and Parasect. There's just so many rain battles and stuff like that. Which it just immediately sounds broken into rain battles, right? But like the battles are still so demon that makes it really, really good. Or like it's not like overpowered by any means. Like navigating, especially Wake, navigating Wake without a dry skin mon is like probably going to be a bloodbath. Like Squirk's run that he has here, he hit like fucking 1% Floatzel instead of 20% Gastrodon, and it made his Wake so much worse. I think he ended up having 4 deaths or something like that. But he also got like super hard punished on a crit first turn because he didn't really have anything good to answer the Quillfish with. So his play was pre-damaged Golduck to hit KO it, but also have Shell Bell on to guarantee Aqua Tail and not spikes. So he showed kill and then outsped. So Quillfish saw kill, he outsped, sidekicked into it or something. Shellbelled out of kill range, had to dodge crit. He also had to dodge Aqua Tail miss. Like he needed the Aqua Tail to hit and not crit. Because if it missed, then it was just going to spikes next turn. And the line was going to be really rough with that being the case. And he ended up like explosion sacrifice, copycat explosion sacrifice to handle Tumon. But he got crit on the Golduck by the Aqua Tail, and it just broke the whole line. Maybe not broke the whole line, but it hurt really bad. Yeah, Squirk's Wake battle because he's pulling up on Byron before too long. Maybe not before too long. That's a overstatement, but yeah, copycat explosion was pretty sweet. And then sleep talk. He also got fucked by the sleep talk bolt tackle, waking up first turn because he didn't like do the guaranteed wake up pre sleep. He just did natural sleep. And if it just stayed asleep for more than just the one guaranteed turn, his line goes so much smoother. Definitely got very. I mean, it was the known like biggest risk of the fight. Really, and got like absolutely punished on it. I believe so. Yeah, because like the first turn is the guaranteed sleep turn, and then I think it's a 25% chance to wake up each time, if I remember correctly. But I don't know that stat off the top of my head, but that sounds right. I don't know off the top of my head how wake up turns exactly go. Like I know dethaw is just always a 25% chance. Holy demon. Slow as piss, but whatever. Super slow turtle makes the gravelers. Yeah, definitely could be worse. I mean, speed's not a very important stat for turtle, but the graveler in galactic headquarters before Jupiter, yeah, plus attack minus speed. And the graveler that's also on cycling road can like barely outspeed it. So it kind of just forces Torterra to level up a little bit quicker than you'd want it to for XP management to be able to outspeed him. Like this Torterra will not outspeed those Gravelers at the level I would want it to be at. Like I'll probably have to go like 35, 36 just for those Gravelers to be able to outspeed them. And that's not great. Unless I have something else that answers it, obviously. I didn't level up. Oops. He didn't even. It's funny because he didn't even wipe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he got soft locked because of a puzzle. So help me God if this is Motham again, dude. Whatever. Good rock smash dupe if I decided to go for rock smashing. I'd have to pull Geodude and like mine or something like that to really maybe prio rock smashing. I'm not too big on rock smashing anymore. Outside of like getting some encounters naturally that are also rock smashes. Because there's only like 3 rock smash encounters that are really worth it, that being one of them. At least worth it within the first like 3, 4 these splits. This must be a pretty decent attack, Ladybug. Quiet is plus ball minus speed. What the fuck? It's not good at all. Interesting. I didn't think a Ladybug body those matchups that easily. See, like what the fuck, bro? So many goddamn Mothams, man. So many fucking Mothams. God damn it. Big crit. Go for it. No, it's 10 times worth of KTZ. No, not Gastrodon. Pretty good Delcatty. Even though it is slow. Fuck it, I don't care. Baneri is a shite. Is anyone else battling right now? No. He's been dying for this gun thing to just die. Close. Good enough. Plus attack minus the def. Not the end of the world. Gravity and Lucky Channel Clefable is such good util. Dude, what is happening? What is happening? Sweet with bright powder, sick. Or it gets natural cure and is exponentially worse. Hmm. Wait, no way. No way Sharpedo learns Stealth Rocks and Spikes. No. What? I'd probably check a couple more turtles and call it. Need to eat something. Maybe do some editing. Check two more turtles. I'll get encounters if I get a good one. I thought I removed in this. Thought I removed hazards in this. One more turtle, why not? Okay, one more. Actual last one. Okay, actual last one. All right. I shall be back on tomorrow. I'm gonna make food. Maybe edit if I'm inspired, but probably not. Probably just watch work and go sleep. Doses.